All right, we're going to talk about another mech from that Capellan list I ran during singles at Adepticon, and that's the Blackhawk KU-O, or as I have started calling it, the unofficial Blackhawk, or the Battletech Blackhawk FU. It is a 46-point battle mech. It is size 3. It is a heavy. It is a TMM2, a 10 jump, a 650 damage output with an OV of 1. For what it's worth, it is armor 7 and structure of 3. Its abilities include Annie, Energy, and Omni. So it's pretty efficient on the abilities front. It also has got that good armor forward of 7, that structure of 3. Which just kind of goes into its pros there, right? It's Omni, so it can transport battle armor around, which is great for Inner Sphere, especially early Inner Sphere Omni. They tend to be like speed 8 and not very fast, and this is speed 10, so you can definitely like haul some battle armor around. With this thing, I like it a lot better than the Speed 8 TMM1 Omnimex that Intersphere gets in these later eras, especially Clan Invasion. The energy weapons makes it crit resistance. It's armor forward, so it's even more crit resistant. It's got 10 movement, which is solid, but it also gets the jump, which is really, 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 really good. And then it's 650, which is awesome for its point value of 46. That 6 at short makes this thing like, man, it makes it so good. You know, a lot of those other mechs were like 4 at short or 5 at short, which was fine. Like, that's still really good. But to be able to close the opponent and suddenly be dishing 6 at short range, this thing was just, it just did work during the tournament. I wouldn't say it's 100% ubiquitous. It is not Inner Sphere a general during Clan Invasion, but a lot of Inner Sphere factions can take it. So it is pretty available and pretty ubiquitous. So I would put that in its pros. Another pro, which I'm also going to call it a con as well, is it's short. Con, it's short. Now, what do I mean by that? Why is that a con and a pro? Well, I found during games, because it is a shorter model, it's really stout, very squat. There were times where I wanted it because it was easier to hide it. He didn't quite stand up as tall over things, so I could really kind of skirt around, and especially if you're trying to haul battle armor around, like protect yourself. But a con is it's short, so sometimes you can't see over things that one of the taller mechs might be able to see. So it's kind of a pro and a con being short. The philosophy of use on this thing, Inner Sphere Battle Armor Fairy. I think it's great. That jump ability. In one of my games, I talked about during my recap, I had the bunkers up on a double hill, and I was able to hide at like the bottom of the hill and then jump this thing up to the top, and it was great. He can jump over like blocking terrain and dump battle armor out and catch guys off guard. And he just makes a great battle armor fairy. He's not like, Clan Tech fast with the Omni where you're just screaming across the board at like movement 12 or 16 or even faster than that sometimes. But as far as Inner Sphere goes, this is about as fast as it gets for Omnimex, right? And it's really good. Like I don't take a lot of Inner Sphere battle armor because I just don't. The Omnimex are just underwhelming, and I feel like that's the best way to transport battle armor across the battlefield is on a battle mech, because you get a little bit of armor boost, a little health boost. Like I was running an exoskeleton on this thing, and it was great because the exoskeleton for like 5 points was like making this thing basically like damage 11, 12 throughout the game. And then I could dump that exoskeleton out and do an anti-mech attack. They call him a skirmisher. That damage 6 at short range and paired with a 5 at medium, I think this thing's more like a brawler. Like, to be honest with you, like this thing fights like a solid heavy mech, or not a solid heavy mech, a solid assault mech. Like he just can do work. And he does great in the midboard, great at grabbing objectives, especially where you want to bring battle armor in. That jump, that damage output for 46 points. I don't know. It's like if your faction can take this during Clan Invasion, you got to think about getting it. And one of the drawbacks is the model's just okay. There's only one available. It's metal. It's all right. It's not terrible. It's not great. if you're in a format that will let you proxy a clan Battlehawk, just cut the fists off, and call it a Blackhawk KU. I would do that over running the metal one. I ended up having to run a metal one at Adepticon just because there's a metal one available. Now, the one thing that is kind of cool about it is its cockpit does kind of remind me of like an A10 Warthog in some ways. I do like that about it, but it's a solid mech. Notable variants. There are good, there are bad, and there are ugly. I'm going to start with the other good one. It's the Blackhawk OE. It's 41 points. It still has that same movement profile. For 41 points, you get a 4-4 with an OV of 2. So you still, for about 10 points a shot, you're still maintaining at least 4 points at medium, 4 points at short. Same armor structure, E&E, Omni. I think if you needed to like trim 5 points, like it's an option out there. Although I would try to trim 5 points somewhere else and just take the O, to be honest with you. But it's good. It's not the worst in the world. There are certainly the rest of the Black Hawk KUs are terrible in my opinion compared to that one. The OU is also it's basically the same. It's 40 points instead of 41. The thing it's 4-4-0. You don't have any OV, but you do pick up a melee weapon, which is kind of cool. Like you drop OV, which whenever OV, it's just in my book OV is just okay with how the current rules are written. But to pick up a melee weapon, this thing wants to be like in the midboard fighting. So, get a melee weapon in there, get your damage output damage output in melee up to 4, maybe even 5. That'd be fantastic. I think the melee weapon would be better on the OE because then if you, got at close range and you shot off your 2 OV and you drop that heat and then you could melee for a turn and still have a damage output of 4. I mean, I think that would be better, but I'll take it on the OU. It's not terrible. Let's see the other ones. So the bad one, in my opinion, the bad ones, they do have a role, I guess, but they're not great. That's going to be the OF and the OA variant. The OF is 233 on its damage output. I think you're wasting points. 3 shots at medium for 40 points, although you do have 3 at long, which isn't the worst in the world. If you want to do long range shooting, you want to have volume, and 3 is the minimum volume to have a reliable long range shot. But you're spending 40 points. The one thing that's nice about this guy is you pick up C3. It's a slave system. It's not C3I, but it is a slave system. So, he can if you wanted him to like play more in a backfield and you had some runners who went up and you were getting long range 3, but you're counting it as medium or close, that's not the worst thing in the world with that OF. But I just think the point value is just a little too much. The other one that is not great is the OG. He's 43 points. He's only 330 with no overheat. The reason you're paying so much for him is because it comes with tag and it's coming with Angel ECM. So if you wanted some Angel ECM, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just 43 points for 3 shots at medium, not the best. The ugly, everything else. The OD, the OA, and the OC are all 222. They lose energy weapons. That one of them, the OD is LRM indirect fire 1. Who cares? The OA's got AMS. Who cares? The OC doesn't have anything. They're all like around 34, 35 points, which I guess is all right. I just don't, you're paying for that Omni, and I just don't think it's worth it. For 2 shots at medium for like mid 35 points. I just rather have an Ostol or an Scout and find something else to ferry battle armor around. Like it's just not worth it to me. You don't even have energy weapons, so you're not even crit resistant, which sucks. And then I think the worst one of them all is the OB. It's 33 points. It's 221 and just Omni. It doesn't even bring AMS. It doesn't even bring indirect fire. It doesn't bring anything extra. And you're losing one more shot at long. I just don't think you bring them. But if you're in the market for something that's awesome, bring that Blackhawk KU-O, the O variant. It it's freaking sweet. I absolutely loved it. And if you're trying to shave points, that that OE and that OU aren't too bad, but that O, man, that is a bread and butter mech right there. If you don't own one, you better buy two. All right, that's all I got for today. May the blessings of Blake be upon you.